Guys doing okay?
Coach, how you doing?
Doing well. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great, thank you. What are kind of the points of emphasis this week as you guys get ready to face the Rams?
Yeah, I think the points of emphasis this week is really always the same week in and week out. Try to play fundamentally sound, smart, relentless, and make sure we play fundamentally sound football. Going against a good unit in the Rams, they are playing good football here lately, and really been playing good for most of the year. But they've come on here lately, and they're doing a nice job. So our guys are well aware of that, and we need to make sure that we play fundamentally sound so we can help the offense and help the defense and put together a good product for this week. It'll be exciting.
Richard, you got a kind of an old friend back with Mark Gonzacha last week. How much of a difference did he make in some of the coverage units last week, and what's it like just kind of having him back around?
Yeah, Nick, I tell you what, it's been awesome having him back around. He's a pro's pro, familiar face, familiar with our system. Still a guy that's got really good speed, really smart, really physical player. He helped free up a lot of guys last week, so that's kudos to the guys in the personnel department. Keeping an eye on Zach, and they always do a good job of getting guys in and mixing all those different puzzle pieces. But he was definitely really helpful last week. He had 2 tackles and an assist, and freed up a lot of other guys as well. So it's good for him to be able to come off the street and make 2 tackles and an assist in the game. It's pretty darn good, and he helped free up some other guys like River and Charlie Warner and Curtis. A lot of those guys. Those guys looked like they were having fun out there, so that was fun to see.
Nick stole my Mark Nazacha question, but I'll ask it this way. I mean, he has been such a stalwart for you. Why is it week 17 that he's being added? What kind of kept him from being on the team prior to that?
Yeah, I think guys always have eyes on guys, and we believe in the guys that we have here as well, and it was good to add him to the mix. So I think when guys get a chance and get their opportunities, real pros take advantage of their opportunities, and Mark did a hell of a job taking advantage of his opportunity last week.
Hey, Richard, I think Travis Benjamin returned a punt just before halftime. Is that obviously he has a history of returning punts for touchdowns? Was that just because of that? I mean, that was a situation where, hey, maybe he can break one?
Yeah, situationally, you always want to try to go with the best situation for the football team. It's kind of like what we've always tried to do week in and week out. And Travis did a really good job there, got an 11-yard return, and I know he would want to break it a little bit, more. And Ayuk had an 18-yard return in the game and also almost a 9 or 10-yard return in the game. So those guys, when we catch it and get vertical, good stuff has happened, and then we got to do more of that. Catch it first and then, make the first guy miss and get vertical. And our guys are doing a great job blocking outside, and guys are doing a good job inside. So we need to keep doing that going forward if we want to try to string together some more good punt returns and help this football team try to get in the playoffs.
Anything else, guys? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
We got Mohurst, Calf, he'll be limited. Greenlaw, limited. Aziz will not practice. Hufanga will be limited. Garoppolo will be limited. Elijah Mitchell will not practice. Tart, limited. And Trent Williams will not practice. Go ahead.
Kyle, has Jimmy thrown since the last time we talked to you, and how did that session go?
Yes, he threw yesterday, and it's made him good enough to be limited today.
Is Mitchell hurt or just being rested?
I mean, he still has the same stuff he's had the last few weeks. So that's why he's not going today. I think we're listing knee as the injury.
Kyle, with some of the guys going on the COVID list today, just curious where things stand with the booster shot, and how have you guys communicated that issue potentially with the playoffs ahead?
I mean, the booster shot, I don't know what that does for the players. I mean, except just getting it, but as far as rules and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, we have the guys that I think that you guys know that are on it right now. We got Dante, Jimmy Ward, Ambry, and K1. With the new protocols, they all do have a chance to test back in before Sunday. So I'm just hoping that goes well with them, and hopefully they're symptom free.
Kyle, with Jimmy, how do you kind of go about, you said he's limited, but how do you go about divvying up the reps? What's your approach, knowing that obviously these guys both need the work, but in a big game, how do you divvy that up?
I mean, we'll put Jimmy in on what he feels comfortable with doing with where he's at today. Trey will get the rest. I'm sure Trey will get majority, but we'll see how it is when it's out there. Mainly just communicating through the practice, through the individuals, through everything. Today won't be a full speed practice, so it's not as challenging.
Do you have a feel for the guys on the COVID list about? I mean, are you optimistic from what you've observed or how they've tested since then that they will be removed by Sunday's game?
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I mean, just watching how it worked for a number of teams around the NFL last week, and guys who got it on Mondays and stuff were able to come back and things like that. I think some guys got on Tuesday were able to come back. So I am optimistic, but I mean, I think your guess is as good as mine.
Hey, Kyle, as far as Trent Williams' injury, do you feel like his status is in question at all for Sunday?
I don't think so. Just knowing Trent, being around him. Yeah, I know it's hurting too much to go today. But no, I know this is a big game, and if Trent can be out there, he'll be out there. And I don't think he's looking any other way right now.
As far as Jimmy's thumb and sort of the relatch scenario, will you try to keep it light with him this week so that has more time to heal and relatch a bit?
Yeah, I think we got to be careful. I think waiting to where we did definitely helped getting him to this point. But I mean, I think each day it's a new experience with it, so it's going to be mainly on Jimmy at Jimmy's pace and just talking to him and making sure he doesn't push it too hard to give him a chance for Sunday.
I assume that you get your guys on the COVID list get to attend virtually. How big of a deal to have that many guys in your secondary not be able to actually practice this week?
I mean, it is a big deal, but I mean, it's part of the league now. Guys have been dealing with it throughout the year. We've been very fortunate this year. We haven't had to hit us like we did last year, so we got it all at one position right now, pretty heavy. Finding it early in the week gives us a chance. I mean, anytime guys miss practice, it doesn't help. But the main thing is it's late in the year, and our guys got a good idea what they're doing. So the goal is just to get them to Sunday, and hopefully that'll be a possibility.
Coach, you guys have had a lot of success against the Rams. Is there anything that you can pinpoint why you guys have been so successful against them in the last few years?
Not in particular. I mean, I think it's two teams that respect each other a lot. We go hard. I would guess we've won the turnover battle the majority of the times, but each one is kind of its own game. And so I never really tied those together when we went into it, and especially being this one right now, I mean, it really has no bearing on what's happened in the past. It's all about these 4 quarters.
Kyle, obviously the stakes for this game are big. I don't know. Do you feel like you have to address anything about what this game means for the team, or does it kind of speak for itself? And if so, how do you address it?
I mean, I think we've been addressing that the last few weeks. I truly believed going into the game versus Houston that if we lost that, we wouldn't be able to get in the playoffs. That did. I think it went that way based off all the other games that day. So our team's fully been playing and acting like that for a little bit, and the way we started out this year, it's been that way for a while.
Hey, Kyle, Steve White. Look, with the way you guys move Debo around, and they've got a chess piece, so to speak, with Jalen Ramsey like that, is it easier to kind of find out what they're trying to do with the way you can align Debo in certain ways?
I mean, they mix it up so much that and just like we do too. Whenever you get a beat on what someone's doing, then it changes. So it's just about adjusting and trying to stay ahead of the curve on it. And it's a chess match in that way. And they got some really good players out there, especially ones like Jalen's, ones like Aaron, and a number of others. And so do we. So you're always trying to move all those guys around on both sides, trying to give your players advantages, and they do as good of a job at it on defense as anyone does on offense also.
Kyle, it would seem in the NFC, and I know you guys are focused on yourselves and this week, but just overall in the NFC, the playoff picture, maybe the teams might be bunched up a little bit more closely without that, one or two elite teams there seems to be every year. Do you agree with that? And with COVID and everything as potentially being an equalizer, do you think even a lower seed might have as good a shot as any this year, given all those circumstances?
Yeah, I do. I really don't see it much different every year. I mean, it's always hard to go in other people's stadiums, especially in the playoffs, especially for some of these quarterbacks. And that's usually the challenge. But, I always feel like every team's got a chance if you can get in the tournament. That's why, you always want home field advantage. You always want the less game that you have to play. But the goal to me is always just to get in, because you get in, you got the shot. And I've always felt like that, and it seems pretty strong this year too.
Okay, last two, you guys.
Hey, Kyle, there's obviously can be some sort of competitive advantage, but because your quarterbacks have, pretty dramatically different skill sets, might you keep the decision about who is going to start hidden, I guess, as late as possible, even if you have made that determination earlier in the week, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I haven't made it now, which is the truth, and I probably will make it before the game starts, and I will not tell you guys when I do that. So, for all the reasons you just asked.
Kyle, there was some video of George Kittle where he was sort of running up and down the field, attacking Trey Lance after the play, just being really encouraging. What's the importance of him just sort of being a big brother to Trey and encouraging him in that way? And also, how did that hit he gave you on the sideline feel?
I would rather Trey avoid Kittle after plays. I appreciate the encouragement, but Kittle, for some reason, can't control his aggressiveness. Trey definitely can handle it better than me, but I run from Kittle after good things, because he will not change how he hits people no matter what, whether they have pads on or not, whether they're on your team. He just gets too excited. So best thing is to avoid Kittle in those moments, because he is injury waiting to happen.
All right, thank you, Kyle.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.